So you're deciding to make your first movie, full length or short film, whatever you decide to do first, it's fine. But you gotta do a couple steps to make it happen, right? Step number one. First of all, you gotta come up with a title. What will you call this film? Or what do you want this film to be about? So kind of brainstorm, kind of come up with an idea for the name of your film and start to put together a script. One and two, step one is one, two kind of goes together. So try to get a script ready and then try to get the name of your movie. Either short film, full length, but don't be scared to do a full length film. I see a lot of people, they just focus on short film. They put all their eggs in the basket to make one short film. Full length though is probably gonna draw you more of a buzz, but that's gonna be further steps. So first, come up with a name for your movie and then we'll start working on a script. Here's also my tip to you. Let's say you don't know how to write a script or maybe you have the idea in your head, but you're too lazy to write it. So what I did, this is an option that you can go with. What I did is I paid somebody cheap on Fiverr to make it, right? It probably came out really horrible. You can kind of give them an idea what you're looking for. They'll write you something. It may not be long enough, or it just may be horrible, where it kind of just is not what you want. But it's fine, because what you do is then you take that platform that they send you, and usually when you give a list of all the characters and the synopsis and how you kind of want it to go, they'll kind of give you a nice layout. So even if they're bad at writing scripts, they'll still pretty much will give you a nice basic layout where you can kind of just copy and paste that into, you can use Celtx. There's a lot of free script writing softwares. I use Celtx, it's free. You can use so many different ones that they have out there. So find one that you feel comfortable with. If you don't have the money, start with a free one. Nothing wrong with that. And what I did is I went through the script. Some of the stuff that was written was okay. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can keep this. Or I had to reword it. And then most of the time I just went down the script and then just reword everything. And then I slightly moved characters around here and there to make it make sense. Because sometimes they don't make sense with your story and you're like, well, that just makes no sense. So that gives you an idea. So don't be scared. It doesn't have to be the best idea and it doesn't have to be the greatest script in the world. It's your first film. And this is why it's very crucial and very important, because this is my first film. So if this doesn't work for me, you're gonna learn the hard way. Well, you're gonna learn with me, I guess you could say. But this is how I did it. So I paid somebody off Fiverr. I didn't like it, but I revamped the whole thing and I made it happen. So this leads up to step number two. Thinking of locations. Also, this kind of goes to step one too, because as you're writing the script, you want to make sure you can write something that you can put locations and make it simple. Something that you don't have to pay for, something you really don't need permits for, something that, you can make this movie in very low budget as possible. So if you're going to do it like at a house maybe, and it's going to be at your house, a friend's house, or you want to do something in the woods, like a camping type of thing, which is like my approach of Hunter's Cabin, which takes place in the woods. So it's great. So you find something that's really cheap where you don't need to come up with all these resources and to come up with all these ways to find multiple locations. Stick to very simple. Stick to like one or two locations, three at most, just so you're good and you can start doing it cheap on a very low budget scale. This is what we're going for. Your first film, you just want to get something out there. You want to be creative. You want to start building this buzz. Which leads to step number three, starting casting. Once you have your script down, the title of it, now you need to start getting casting for your movie. This is very crucial because this takes a while. What you do is you find a forum, a Facebook group. This is like how mine blew up really rapidly. Find a Facebook group that has casting calls. And when you post up a listen in your casting call on a Facebook chat, say, hey, I'm making my first movie. It's non-union, it's not paid, but there's gonna be credits that I'll be able to give you. You're gonna get fed. So these are some things you gotta consider too in your low budget of feeding people basically, and where the location is gonna be. You wanna tell them the location let's be, what the movie's about, and what kind of characters you're looking for. So you gotta draw all that up. It's not that hard. We'll dissect more of that into other videos, but this is just like your steps. So once you launch that out, watch your emails get flooded. And this is where you create buzz. So basically, once you have your casting out and people like your film or like your idea for your film, they're going to write to you because everybody wants to be part of something. They want to grow as an actor. They're trying to get into their foot in the step. And then you just do all the auditions. So when you do auditions, you got two options. I mean, you got a couple options, but what I did is I DJ. So I had a bar that I DJ at, and I said, hey, can I use your venue to host my auditions? They did. I didn't have to pay anything. They let me use their facility. They liked it because some of them hung around, they bought drinks. So for them, it was like kind of like bringing a new clientele for them. So they didn't really care. If you can't do that way, if you don't have a spot, you don't want to spend money to rent out a hall or to rent out a conference room at a hotel, that's fine. Do virtual, especially the day of, COVID and everything. People are now used to more virtual auditions, kind of like sending audition tapes in. So you can get people just to send all those in and then just sit down and watch them and then try to decide who you want. The only bad thing about that is it was a big difference. When I had my live in-person auditions, I got a better feeling for the character that I was trying to portray in my movie, and people brought it a little bit to life because they would talk to me. They could kind of see which way I wanted them to go with. If they did the tape auditions, it was a lot harder. Like, two of my leads came from a tape audition, but most of them pretty much I casted as it came into the in-person casting call. So you could either do in-person casting call or somewhere that is cheap, public, something kind of still private though, and just to get that going. So that's the main thing. Once you have your casting, your script, the title, you're almost there. Because then you lead into step 4. So now you have this kind of established where you got your whole team, but now you need a crew. So here's the thing, if you have a simple camera, whatever you're gonna be shooting on, some people are making movies now with their iPhones, so you can shoot on your iPhones. I have an S21 Ultra, it shoots 8K. If I really wanted to shoot this movie, I could shoot it with my phone, but I'm not going to, but if you don't have any camera options. But if you reach out the same way that you reached out to cast members in school forums, stuff like that, say, hey, I'm gonna film my first movie, I like to have some help, I'm looking for like a video crew, I'm looking for a videographer, I'm looking for a person control sound, I'm looking for all these different these people to help me out to make this movie happen. Who wants to help me? Let's make this happen, because you never know where it's gonna go. And once it goes somewhere, give them like reassurance, give them something that you are really working hard towards, it's like a passion of yours, even if it's not the greatest that you have first, at least it can be something in the future, or maybe something that you may want to be in the future. So kind of give them like a little perspective, give them the whole spiel, what the movie's about, what your vision is. A lot of people are going to want to do that too, because there's so many like-minded people like us in this industry, and it's crazy. And right now, film industry, I feel like it's just huge, especially down here in Florida right now. So it's big right now to kind of hop on this wagon while it's hot. It's always been hot, but I feel like it's more hotter now with all this new technology now. Now you can do stuff that Hollywood does for half the cost, which is amazing. And, to even get those budgets, you can still do it on a low budget. So getting your whole team together, that's your editors, that's your videographers, that's everything that you need to get going, basically. So now you got your movie, you got your script, your title of the movie, you got your casting done, you found your crew, you're basically almost set, you're pretty much good. Now you got to build that buzz. Now that you have all the pieces kind of tied together, start building buzz right away. Step 5 and 6 is basically together, but you want to start building the buzz, like I was saying. So basically you're going to create a special page for all your actors. So all your crew members, all your actors, and by having this, people are going to see this. So you can start getting additional crew members as well, which could be your wardrobe, your special effects, makeup artists. More people are going to start wanting to be a part of it. They're going to be like, oh, I heard about your movie, and then this is, you're building a buzz, and then you're building a social media preferences too. So make a Facebook page, kind of like just a regular fan page, make an Instagram account, make all your basic social medias, and just start throwing like little teasers here and there, like, hey, here's my cast members, making my first movie. Try to get the buzz around where people are going to want to come to. So that's kind of ties into 5 and 6, because 5, you want to make a separate page for just the cast members and all your crew members, so they can start communicating with each other, start building a relationship with each other, and they enjoy that. They like that. They start commenting on each other. You let them know what's going on. Like, okay, guys, we're going to be doing this. You can find out, wardrobe talks with them. You can go over food they like and don't like. You can go over setting up different appointments, like, hey, we're going to be filming this day. These are the times. So giving them all up to date where you have them all at once. Instead of sending 100 emails out at different times, just have them all in one group. It'll make your life so much easier. And then you can just post everything in that special group. And also let them know, like, hey, this is what's going on these days. who's available, who's not. Try to get everybody's availability. So that's the hardest part. Is honestly, that's the hard struggle was for me, was getting everybody to be on the same page and to be able to get dates locked in. Having your dates set up when you post up your ad for looking for the members, have that date in mind before you even do anything, before you even get them in a group, because they got to commit to a day. It was like, hey, I'm filming in February, March, whatever the day is, for this day to this day. How many days you're gonna need, how much time you think it's gonna need, a ballpark, because people work, people's gotta take off, they gotta do what they gotta do, they still got family, friends, everything, personal life. But you want them to be dedicated to your film, and they will be, because they'll know this is the time, I'm doing this, and they put in a calendar, it's less stress. So make sure that's crucial. Make sure your whole team, your crew, everyone is all on the same page for the dates and everything, and make sure you get the scheduling. Sometimes you may have to start filming people before the other people, so you have to bounce around with your different scenes. You may have to move those around even on like last minute. This may happen. I think it's gonna happen to me, where I only have to move things around last minute. Probably gonna happen. After you kind of got your social media, you're gonna start seeing your buzz is gonna get wildfire. People are gonna start noticing you more because you guys post regularly. Post little teasers, post little quotes, post anything. Make little like clippets of, whatever. Start doing some basic graphics of the movie. Nothing too fancy, but just be like, hey, here's this cast member. Kind of like throwing things at people. So every day you have something new. And I've been doing this, and it's been drawing so much buzz, more than I ever expected in my life. This movie came just on a random talk that I did with one of my main actors in the film, and now it's happening with Crazy Files. But this is what I'm doing, which I feel like is going really great. I don't see other directors or writers, producers, whatever, doing a film doing it this way. They're doing different steps, and they're coming off wrong ways, and they're not coming off the way people want them to come off. You gotta give respect to your people that you're working with. They're doing you a solid, you're doing them a solid. So making sure everyone's all on equal playing fields. You're not like over the top, like rude, disrespectful. Then make sure you have the props. So that leads into step 7. Make sure you have the props for the film. So whatever film that you're doing, whatever type of film, make sure you have all your props. So if it's fake knives, fake weapons, any type of special things you want in the background of your movie, anything like that, make sure you have that all ahead of time too. You can get that honestly like last minute, like right before, like the week before, whatever it takes so long to get the props. As long as you have them, I would say at least a week or two before you start filming. So if you think of another thing, you can always pick up something in the meantime. But make sure you have all your props ahead of time, because you don't want to stress. Less stress, the better. So more stuff you knock out of the way, the better. Go through your script multiple times, read it. It's like, oh, I forgot that I wrote that. Let me get the prop for this. So make sure you have your props. As long as you have your props, that's good. If you have a makeup artist to add to the props, tell them, hey, we're gonna dedicate time before we start filming. Come meet me early. I wanna give you the props and start putting the special effects makeup on it to make it look as real as possible, or whatever you're going with the props that you have. So that would be my tip 7. Then 8, which is basically you're getting ready to record now. You're kind of getting everything on pieces. Make sure you have lighting. This was big, stressful for me too. I have a couple lightings. I'm like, this is not gonna be enough. Luckily, one of my guys that's gonna be in the film, he's like, so how's your lighting? And I'm like, I got lighting, but I don't think I have enough lighting. So I got him to try to make it work as best as I can. He's like, I got you, I got lights. And he's got good lights because he also done gaffer work and he done other work before. Because once again, this is you networking with other people. They're gonna see what you do. So they're gonna be back out to you, they're gonna help you, but make sure you have good lighting. Even if you gotta buy cheap ones at Home Depot and DIY it yourself, just to get more lighting, just to make sure you have lighting, because that's gonna be your key to make your movie look as best as possible without looking as cheesy as possible, and to make it look as close to high standards as much as possible, whatever you're shooting on. Lighting is very key. This is natural lighting. This is not the best lighting right now. When you're watching this film, this is horrible lighting. This for me is bad, but I have all my stuff packed up because I'm getting ready to film. So all my stuff's already packed away. This is just natural light coming from my window. But you can see it's not the greatest lighting. So this is not a good example of lighting. I'm very washed out. The shadows are off. This is just natural lighting from my light. I had nothing else. I don't even have regular room lights on either to balance out. So this is not a good example of lighting. We'll do lighting in other videos, but just saying, make sure you have proper lighting because you don't want it to look like this. Next step that we're going to be going into, which is basically you're on your last 2 steps. So now you shot your movie, you got everything, you're filming your movie, you're doing what you got to do, you have your videographers, you're sitting down, everything's good. Okay, now that I'm done shooting, now what's the next big step? The next big step is going to be editing. Make sure you get your editing done. If you have editors that you maybe recruited to help you with this movie ahead of time, kind of like associate producer to help you with it, or if you know how to edit yourself, which is even better, or you find different ways, the best way is edit. No matter how long it takes you to edit, make sure it's good. And then once it's edited, then you're ready to release it. Here's my number one tip that I would definitely want to give to everybody, because this is what I see so many independent filmmakers struggle with. Is two things: audio's horrible and editing is off. So when you watch the film, if the audio don't link up with the words properly, or you notice that you could have fixed things differently, you could have adjusted things, moved different things, add special effects in certain spots, make sure that it's best as possible. This is my other main tip. This is what I'm going to be doing in my next part after I'm done filming and editing, is I'm going to do a pre-premiere. Basically just get all the cast members together and just do like a preview of it. So the cast members will get to be the first ones to get to see it. And then you can kind of do like a run test. Even if you don't want to do it even with them, like if you want them to be actually at the premiere and not see it until that very moment, that's fine too. Just make sure you have somebody watch it with you to make sure everything is good. Sit back, watch it like it's a regular movie night. Make sure, you know, get your popcorn ready because it's your movie. If you feel like something's off, go back, fix it. And then once that's all fixed, then start releasing it like a theater premiere. Then start hitting the festivals. Once you're at that level where you know, okay, this is good enough, or at least decent enough, where I can now enter into the theater, the sound's good enough, I can send it to the festivals, it's good enough, the file formats are good, it's playing on everything, there's no corruption going on, then you're set. So these are just 10 steps that I've been taking starting my very first film on a low budget to no budget type of film. It's more expensive than I thought it was going to be, but it's still very low budget, and you could still make it even lower than what I'm spending on this film. And this is all my own personal money. That's the crazy part. But you do this in months. So I started writing the script in September. I started casting by December, and now we're shooting in January, a month later. So I mean, it took like 4 months or so just to get up to where we are now. But I don't want to go on too long. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, because we're gonna have so much more going on behind the scenes of when we're filming, different things of when it comes to special effects, what it's like to be on set, being a video production, what it's like to be a director, what it's like to be an actor on set, what is it like to be just, you know, the whole mindset of starting your first film, full length or short, whatever way you're going with. And we're doing this with you. So that's why you want to stay tuned and see our journey, because this is a journey that you may want to take when you start going. So hope you guys like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.